Hey everyone! So this week's video, as you can tell by the thumbnail and by the title, both of which I haven't picked yet, but obviously the video for this week didn't quite go as I had hoped or as the plan was. Trying to decide how to put this video together was a little bit challenging for me, so I tried to just break it up into two kind of parts, and I thought I would just go over the first part, which is kind of just the work part that we got done out at our off-grid property before things changed. So this was the plan. We had wanted to build a platform for the Sky Mule. So we have this big pile of wood that was left over from when the roofers were here again, and I asked them to leave it here because I'm gonna use it. And one of the things that Steve wants to build, or that we want to build, is a platform for the Sky Mule, a launching pad kind of thing. And Steve was going to buy some pressure treated wood for that, but I said, no, let's use this stuff and I'll just burn it with a torch. I had also wanted to continue working on my shed and working on the interior walls. Knowing that I needed more wood, I had thought of an idea, a bit of a creative idea, to use pallet wood on one of the walls in the shed. So I had pallets sitting at home, a couple of pallets, and I decided to dismantle those and give those a quick sand and take those out. We got out to our off-grid property, our lake property, 20 acres, and pretty much right away Scout and Clyde set the tone for the trip. They're somewhere over there. Can't see them. They have their collars on, but man. Scout too. One of the things that we wanted to do, or that Steve wanted to do, was to work on rerouting the trail that we've got going up. So for those of you that saw in one of the last videos, or a couple of the last videos, that the Sky Mule with heavier loads was dropping too low and it hit our rope railing that we've got there. So Steve took apart that railing and started to reroute the trail. So rerouting the trail, Steve already went and got rid of all of the rope railing, so the trail came down there, and it's actually better this way. We're gonna go up there, zigzag up there a little bit. It's so steep right here anyway, so this will actually make it a nicer trail to walk up. Where's Clyde?
Where's Clyde? Is Clyde down there? Is Clyde down there?
You stay, Scout. Scouty, you stay. Baby, you came back. You didn't get lost. You didn't get lost. We're so proud. Hi. Whoa.
Oh, sorry,
Easy.
Mom. Oh, sorry.
Easy, tiger. Ah.
Sorry, Mom. Bit of a bull.
Yep. Bull in a china shop.
Tabor toss.
Good job, my love.
Fitting there. Just a little bit.
A little bit more.
Not bad.
Just non-stop, Clyde. We'd also wanted to use the Sky Mule to send down those pallet wood boards that I had acquired at home. And so we were able to get that done. And this is all just the first day, the first few hours that we're out there. So we got that done. It was a little bit of a challenge. We still are working through the kinks of the launching of the materials, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to get the platform built out there.
Next shot, my love. Now you,
This is why I just prefer
no,
to carry
hold that thing, hold that thing, my love. Okay. Give this to me. Came up, I got it. Okay. It goes slowly.
Yeah, we'll have to cut that post away too.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 4:15. I know I always like tell the time. I'm always like, what time is it? Because it really is so limited when I can actually be here. So it's like, okay, I have 20 minutes. What can I do? I just got down. I just brought the pile of wood down that we got down on the Sky Mule. So the first few hours we were here was basically just manning the dogs, Steve kind of rerouting the trail. I was just kind of helping out, running and getting water and tending to the dogs and all that kind of stuff. He just took them all in his truck and he's on his way down to the cabin right now because we're going to stay at the cabin tonight. And I thought I would just stay for a little bit and get a little bit done before I go down and cook dinner and all that stuff. So I don't have a lot of time. I think what I'll start to do is work on one of these walls. Who cares? Why am I talking? Just work, Michelle. We've been sick, so Steve has been really sick. I've been moderately sick, but I've mostly been taking care of him because he's been really sick. And it's coming and going, ebbing and flowing. I have like a really, really bad headache for no reason. And I'm really tired. List of complaints. And I did realize I am going to have to add more wall framing in for the boards because everything I have is shorter than the distance I've got from one side of the wall to the other side. But that's okay. I've accepted that. So at this point, I'm done working on the shed for the day. And at this point, this is kind of where I guess I'll start talking about the other aspect of the video, or basically kind of where the rest of our week was directed. And so Scout is missing. And I thought that because this has been such a hard video for me to make, to talk about, I've already tried to do this part many times, broken down crying. I'm feeling that way now, but I just kind of have to compartmentalize my emotions as best as I can to be able to get through this. So I thought I would break down the first night and the following day in a bit more detail, and then I'll just kind of run through the rest of the days a bit more with less detail, I guess, just to keep things moving. So Steve had gone down to the lake. He took all the dogs while I stayed to work on the shed. By the time I got down to the lake, it was about close to 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. And I had heard Clyde and Scout down from up above. I had heard them howling, doing their thing. Obviously, they had gone after a scent. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to finish what I was doing and go down, because I was cooking dinner, and also I wanted to check on what was going on with the dogs, because I always am worried about them. So I got down to the lake, I got down to the cabin, and Steve said, yep, he fed them and they took off right away. So they have their GPS collars on. We were tracking them, Steve was tracking them. He showed me that they had gone along this trail or whatever, they had taken this route up our property and then over onto Crown land, and had sort of gone to this one area here that is a little bit of a flat area. Now I've kind of just made this rough topographical map that's not to scale at all. It's just to give a rough idea of what the terrain looks like, or what we were looking at anyway on the GPS collar controller. As I kind of had said there, like while I was working on the shed, both Steve and I were not feeling well. Steve especially has not been feeling well. He's had a bug, and I think that there was a bit of like frustration that the dogs had taken off again, and he had tried to go get them and they just kept running. Scout was following Clyde, and so he was in a frustrated state saying, ugh, like, you know what? They're just gonna have to spend the night outside. Like, you know, frig them kind of thing. Like, Steve and I, ever since we got these hounds and gotten the GPS collars on them to keep them safe, over the last year to year and a half, we have always dropped anything and everything that we were doing to go look for them. Because we know that if we chose not to, and something bad were to have happened, we knew that we like couldn't live with ourselves. So we've always made a pact that we would drop what we're doing and go look for them. And I've integrated that a little bit into the videos over the last year, but never really fully kind of shown just how much time we really did put into always going out to look for them. I'm talking hours that could lead up to like weeks worth of hours. And we do it because we like love them so much and we don't want anything bad to happen to them. Like I'd be in the middle of sawmilling and I'd stop the mill or building the pole barn shed and stop everything, and we would go and spend the rest of our day into the evening, into the night, looking for them and making sure that we got them home if we possibly could. And I think this particular day was probably the one day that we didn't do that we felt like frustrated, not feeling well, and said, like Steve was just like, you know what, they can spend the night out. They're in that area. They're probably fine. We'll just go over and get them in the morning. This is also an area that we'd never walked on before. We'd never explored. We didn't know what the terrain was like, but we knew it was like, rough country. But anyway, so that was our mistake. At this point, we had gone to bed. They had still been in the same area. We last checked the GPS at 11 p.m. They were both still in their same spots. Clyde there, Scout there. And we went to sleep. Now, Steve woke up at 3 in the morning as he was hypoglycemic. Steve is diabetic and he needed to get up and get sugar. So of course I woke up as well. We looked at the GPS collar and it showed that Clyde had moved. Clyde had gone straight up the mountain to close to the rail grade. And we sat around for 10 minutes. I got a fire going in the cabin. It started to get chilly in there. And we had discussed whether or not it would be worthwhile to go up and get him. And so we watched him. He had stayed still for the 10-15 minutes we were sitting around, and we both made the decision we should go get Clyde. So we got in the truck to go get him.
Here, hold on. 47 yards. He's just down in there, 50 yards. Park.
Oh, he's stuck on something.
I know.
Clyde! I wonder if he's hurt. I think he's
What's
just
that
stuck.
sound? Oh, he's stuck. Jesus. He's stuck here. This,
Huh?
here. This, he's caught. There. Oh, poor Clyde. It's really tight on him. There. Boy, it's kind of a good thing we came. There's no way he could move.
Hi, baby.
God, this thing was...
Hi,
There
baby.
was a branch right through it.
Clyde. At this point, it still is showing that Scout is in the same spot, down where he's settled for the night. And we just said, okay, we'll just wake up whenever we can and go get Scout. By the time we actually woke up, it was close to 8 a.m. and we looked on the GPS and it gave a question mark. And that tells us that the signal has been lost. Now, typically, all of the other times that we've ever seen that, it usually means that there's maybe a mountain range kind of in between, like the signal doesn't pick up. We usually have to just get ourselves a bit closer and then it'll pick up. Or the weather is bad. It's happened before. The weather isn't great and it will lose the signal. Or it means that they're really, really, really far away and it dropped their signal in the process of them getting far away. The last thing I think it could have been, I guess, is that the battery dies. Now, I find that hard to believe in this scenario, but it's almost the only thing that makes sense. But I was almost sure that Scout's collar was not that close to dying, and I've never had one of the collars ever die while one of the dogs has been out using it, and I've used them days in a row, so don't know what happened, but we presume at this point that the collar died. So anyway, 8 a.m., no sign of Scout on the GPS, so we decided to get in the truck probably around 9:30, and we drive up to go find him on the rail grade. Backtracking a little bit, a month ago, this had happened. Some people know that watched that video. The same thing had happened. Scout and Clyde took off. They were in that same area. Clyde had his GPS collar on and Scout did not. So he was able to retrieve Clyde near dark, which took him a couple of hours to go get Clyde, but we didn't know where Scout was because his GPS collar was not on. He spent the night. In the morning, we drove up to the rail grade and he was on the rail grade, walking around sniffing unharmed, and what a miracle like that was, which was why this time we made sure that he had his GPS collar on. We were under the impression that this was happen the same way. We would get on the rail grade and find Scout, and we did not. So we drove for a few hours looking for him, didn't find him, decided to go back down to the cabin and follow their tracks that they made in through that land. To find them, came up to that big flat area that they were. And went to the spot where Scout had spent the night to look at the land to see if there was something that we could see that looked abnormal or strange, or like a struggle had gone on, or which direction he would have gone in. And so this is the last area that he was, according to the GPS. This is where we wanted to get to, just in case there was some reason that he was stuck here. But no sign of him. And we came up empty-handed. And so at this point, Steve had to go home because he had to work the next day. I decided I would stay in the event that Scout showed up at the cabin, and I was gonna spend the next day looking for him by myself. Water, food, a bag as a bowl, the water. I'm gonna take, this is a leash, but I'll find more, just small rope, tensor, and a sheet, a big sheet, in case I need to make a harness to carry him out. And so basically at this point now, I'll just summarize that over the next 4 days, me being out there by myself looking for him, me coming home, us going back out together until dark, looking for him, covering as much ground as we possibly could. In the rain, it was cold and rainy, and we had just thought that there was a chance that Scout had got hung up on his collar in the same way that Clyde did. And that potentially if he's in this area, like, we've got to cover this ground as much as we can. So that was one of the first things that we thought had happened. Or maybe he got hurt a little bit and couldn't get up, or he was stuck, or injured. Even took the ATV out one of the days. I guess this is day 3 of trying to find Scout. So Steve is changing out the snow tracks for the tires on the ATV because we're gonna load up the ATV and spend another day trying to find poor little Scout. How's it going, Steve?
Pretty good. Almost done. Get on the road here. Poor Scotty.
To cover different ground, and the ATV can get into different places that the truck can't, and trying new routes and meeting in the middle. By the final day, we just felt honestly defeated. Like, where would he have gone? What happened to him? Where did he choose to go? So we made a decision to rent a helicopter. We would rent a company to fly us over the area to have one last look, bird's eye view, to see if there was something that we could see, if the chopper would scare him and he would move, or if he was stuck to a tree, something. We felt so desperate at that point that it was worth it for us to do that. And we took a friend of ours as well, just so that she could be extra eyes. So we had 4 people looking down over the land. We spent an hour hovering over and looking and saw nothing, saw no sign. And we covered quite a bit of area around, like kilometers up the mountain, way over from where he even really should have gone, and we just didn't see anything. And here we are. We still don't know where Scout is. I think the thing that we've come to the conclusion at now, and we could be wrong, but it sort of seems to be the only thing that we can think makes sense, is that I guess his collar died. All we know is that when we left and got back and went back to bed, he was still in that spot, and with no question mark. It showed that he was there. So sometime when we went back to sleep, it lost him. And based on what he did the month before, we figure that he was done. Like, he woke up in the morning and he was gonna go back up the mountain and get to the rail grade and work down the rail grade to where we normally park to work on the cliff, and that we would eventually come across him. And at that point, we think a cougar potentially is what grabbed him if something took him. That's that. Today is Saturday. Scout has been gone since Monday morning, so 5-6 days now. Steve and I have beaten ourselves up a lot. We feel like we let Scout down, that we let them both down. We just are devastated that we got complacent the one time, and that we didn't put the effort in to go get them when we should have. And I would say we gave it our all to look for him in the end, but it was just too late. We have to eat that forever. Yeah, I don't think that we'll ever forgive ourselves for that, but that's where we're at, because we don't know what happened. It's possible that he decided to keep going hunting, and maybe he will show up somewhere someday. But anyway, we aren't giving up all hope yet. We are gonna go out to be at the lake. We're gonna move out to the lake for a week or so and continue to keep looking here and there, to set up cameras. We got game cameras to put in the areas that they were, just for our own curiosity and see what we see animal-wise. I have decided to never say what my next video is going to be about at this point. But I will see you at some point again. And I thank you all for watching. This video was hard for me to make. I am I'm so much more heartbroken about this than you will ever know, but I have been here before, and I know that time does help heal all wounds. I know the most logical thing to think and say is that we undoubtedly gave Scout the most amazing life, and I know that that is true. Never did I think that the sad little boy I took home from the SPCA last September would have blossomed into who he became today. Scout's love and passion to be a hound dog again was truly reignited, and he was Clyde's partner in crime. I'd never seen a dog more excited and eager to be involved in anything and everything that the rest of his family was doing. He truly had the heart of a lion, and his resilience, despite missing an arm, was unmatched to anything else I've seen. He was tough, yet sensitive, confident, yet cautious, and sassy, like his mum. We will miss your long, silky, soft hound ears and the seriousness of your sweet face. We can only hope that we gave you the best end of life possible, Scout. But above all else, we hope you knew and felt just how much we loved you and just how much we will miss you. Our little Scouty darling.